and welcome to another episode of Hambini Destroys. It is coming to that time of the month, sorry, I meant year again, when we are getting dark, cold and dogging becomes a bit more difficult. So to remedy that, Towild have sent me some lights and they are wild. These lights are not particularly expensive and I've been riding around on them, using them mainly for commuting. They've sent me 3 lights, so I'm going to review them today and show you what they're all about. This could quite possibly be the worst unboxing ever because I've already unboxed everything. But I'm sure most of these YouTubers who unbox stuff already take it out of the packet. I've got this, which is the CL1200 PRO. It's a front light. This is the box that you get with it. This is all the stuff that you get in with it. So you've got the light, a mount, which is a GoPro mount, and another clamp, some bolts, and a USB charging cable that comes in there. You also get, because this is the Pro model, an out in front Garmin mount. And I haven't used that, but it does come with one. In the box, you also get this, which is a remote control, and I'll show you how that functions in a minute. And then the final thing you get is the manual. So fairly rudimentary, self-explanatory for that. So that's the CL1200 PRO. You can buy all this stuff on Amazon Prime next day, and it's not particularly expensive. It's around about 50 to 60 quid. Delivered to your door. That's that one. The CL1200 is this light, and this is basically the same as the 1200 Pro, but you don't get quite as many bits and pieces on it. So the light looks absolutely identical, although it's black in colour. I mean, this looks like it's maybe T6061 aluminium. Yeah, that's that. You also get the mount and the remote control, but you don't get the out in front mount. And then finally, they also sent me this, which is quite interesting. It's a smart braking tail lamp. And this works a bit differently. It's a tail light, but as you brake, it gets brighter. And in there, you get that clamp, all this kind of good stuff. I'll do the front light first. The front light, so the 1200 Pro and the 1200 are about the same, is 10 centimeters roughly, maybe 10.5 in length, and it weighs 175 grams. So in the grand scheme of things, that is quite lightweight. To give you an idea of what that's like, this is in comparison to a cat eye. So that's 178 grams, it's about the same weight. And this is a exposure 6-pack. That's 395 grams. So you could actually run with 2 of the Towild lights and still be less than that weight. I mean, the big issue with this is it's clunky and bulky, and the clamp is utter garbage. So this is, I've had so many clamps. Yeah, they're all the same. So when after a little while, you put it in, it just vibrates. The fit becomes very, very poor. For a 300 quid light, it's atrocious. And they didn't want to know about it when I pointed it out. This light has got some fairly interesting features. The most, I guess, the rudimentary features are the charging port, it's a USB-C in the back. It does support fast charging. The mount, which I'll come on to, and then the light lens itself. So it's a single LED, looks to be a single LED. And I don't know if the camera can quite make that out, but the lens is split. So you've got the bottom half, and then the top half's almost like a fixed cut. Now I think this light is probably StVZO compliant. If you're not familiar with what that is, in Germany their bicycle lights are fairly well policed. So StVZO is Straßenverkehrszulassung, which I guess translates to road safety regulations. So I think this light is probably compliant with that. The things on here that are really good is the mounting system. So the mounting system, it looks like a Garmin mount, but it also comes with that, which is a GoPro adapter. So you can put that on, click it round, and then you can pop that onto your bike. This is the light on the front of my Windspace T1500. You see it's a very, very slick mount. Now I have got the big GoPro screw thing in on the side, but you can use the smaller one if you want. But you can angle this up and down. I've loosened the screw, and then you can just tighten that up, then it won't move. The advantage with this is because it's light, it doesn't bounce up and down. When you do want to take it off to charge it, you can just do that. Alternatively, this mount is dual-sided, so you can move that to the other side. But the reason for doing that is if you wanted to mount it on the top, then you can. Obviously this shield and the lens would be upside down because that would be on the other side. So for lighting modes, it's pretty straightforward. You press and hold it to turn on, press it again and it gets a bit brighter, press it again, it gets dimmer, goes bright, brighter still, and then dim. If you press and hold it twice, or press it twice quickly, it goes into pulsing mode. Press it again and it's like a random strobe, which is useful to be seen. And then that takes you back to the pulse, and that turns it off. And when you start it again, it goes back to the mode that you originally had it in. So if I press it twice, it'll go back to sort of medium, high and low. It's got another interesting feature. If you turn it off completely and then press and hold the button for 3 seconds, the LED on the top, which I hope you can just about see, turns blue. And now that is an intelligent mode. So now if you leave the light for 2 minutes without any vibration, it'll switch itself off. To get out of that, you just turn it off again, press and hold for 3 seconds, and the light will go green. Like so. So when you get this light, it comes with a remote control, whether you buy the Pro one or the non-Pro one. In order to pair it, you do the following sequence. First of all, turn the light on so it goes green. Keep your finger on that button until that light goes red. Like that. And then press the button. And then now we are paired. So if we turn this light on, let's get it out of intelligent mode because I want to show you this working. So see that's changing as we go through. That's flashing. That's continuous. And so on. Now this will completely eradicate this. So you can press the button here and it's basically like the main kill switch. So now the whole thing is off. Outside, just to show you what the light is like, the beam pattern is quite a good cut-off. It's just basically on the floor. You can see the little birds or insects flying past, but that is quite impressive. It's not really going to dazzle any oncoming drivers. So for the rail light, whoever's designed this has put a fair amount of thought into it. The charging port is there, and this is one of the mounts that you get with it, which is the seat rail mount. So that goes onto the bottom of your seat rails, and then that goes in, slots round, and it's securely held. It doesn't vibrate, unlike some of the others. The better mount, or the one that I think is really quite good, is this mount. Now this looks very similar to almost like a Garmin pedal sensor mount, but they put an angle onto where it attaches to your seat post. So it remains horizontal. So this is the tail light, and it's a fairly compact affair. It weighs in at a paltry 26 grams, so in the grand scheme of things that is lightweight. Diameter of it is 34-ish millimeters. To illustrate what I mean, this is the seat post of my Windspace bike. You can see a Phoenix light here, it's pointing slightly down. This one, because of that angle on the mount, it's going basically horizontal. So this is pretty much idiot proof to use. To turn it on, you press the button, press it again, goes to the next mode, press it again, and it goes to another mode. And finally, it's fully on all the time. I've turned the smart braking on now, so now it's just like in a random pulsing mode. If I simulate accelerating or decelerating, it comes on really bright and then goes off again. That does work. It works very well while you're on a bike. Things that I was keen to see if it would happen or not is what happened when you went along a bumpy road. Well, it doesn't come on until you stop. So it's obviously got a sensor in a particular direction, or it's picking up the movement in a particular direction. Because up and down, bumpy road, it's not doing anything. Well, it wouldn't be a Hambini video without a PowerPoint, and because I forgot the last few occasions, let's check the pen is working. Oh, and it's working real good. Right, remember to check out the website, hambini.com, HambiniEng on Shinestagram, and patreon.com/Hambini. There's loads of stuff on there, actually, that you can't get on the free internet, mainly because there's some discounts that you won't be able to get. Towild bike lights. There's a pun in there somewhere. By Hambini, aged 5. I'll keep this brief. Right, the drag, it's about 2 watts at 30 kph. At mild DNV, it gets higher, and that's because it's basically behaving like a bluff body out in front of you, so it's the first thing the air hits. The front light is 1200 lumens, 5000 milliamp hours. To be honest, the thing that you really need to look at is this number here, which is 2.5 hours on max. One thing that is quite important is the D rate. On some lights, you get a phenomenon when it gets hot that it actually starts to kill the power. You don't get that on it. Well, I haven't experienced that on these lights, and that's been in sort of 20 degrees weather, hottest, but mainly around 13, 14 Celsius. The rear light, I don't know what the lumen rating is, but on flashing it lasts ages, so 30 hours. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think it's quoted as 24 on the packet. And the real world charging time, so on a fast charger, the rear is an hour and a half and the front's 3 hours. I mean, these numbers are arbitrary because it's not like a precise number like Technic or one of those Mr. Who's the Boss kind of videos. It's just a number, an engineer's number. Overall, I think the key thing here is the mounts are very well thought out. So integrating it with your StVZO, your GPS, camera, all that kind of stuff, it's quite well thought out compared to some of the other brands, and if it's not really impacting you if you've got Aero handlebars, because you can just bolt them onto the bottom. And previously that was a bit of a turn off, and that's also why I always had round handlebars, because you could just bolt anything to them. That front light has a very, very clear cutoff, and I did allude to it earlier. I think it might be StVZO compliant, but it's not listed as that. But someone can correct me if I'm wrong. For a nighttime TT, I'd recommend this front light and a headlight, because there isn't quite enough just out in the sticks, in my opinion. But then again, I've been riding along with like 5000 lumen lights on occasion, but take it how you will, depends how good your eyesight is. And a key point is the price. I mean, they are very affordable. So compared to the Cat Eye and Exposure, I mean, the amount of power you get and the features you get versus the other ones, I mean, it costs the same as the bracket for the Exposure. So that's where we are. Right, if you did enjoy this video, remember to smash that like button. If you didn't, go screw yourself. And as always, keep banging your hairdresser.